Today's talk is about photographs, writing and royalties. This all links to what I call collection societies. These are organisations that collect fees for copyright, including film scripts, video performances, music and lyrics, plays, writing and editing, photography, art and illustrations, and if you have any TV appearances of your content or you, all classified as royalties. So the collection societies throughout the UK and worldwide as well, they allow you to, they collect money for us, which they then distribute. These examples of some of the ones in the United Kingdom. So the Office Licensing and Collecting Society, one of the main ones I'll talk about. There's others as well. So a lot of different ones collect money for us, then give it out to us annually. Main ones I'm involved with or get money from is the Authors Licensing and Collecting Society, which is for writers. I'll explain a bit more about these things as I go through them. The other one, more on the photography side, is DACS, which is the Designers and Artists Copyright Society. That was founded in 1984. And they, along with other collecting societies, bring in the money and they distribute it to artists throughout the UK and elsewhere. Each country has its own ways of working. Now you can always look at Wikipedia for the collecting societies in your region, which country you're in. A big question is why? This graph's a little bit out of date, but over the past 8 years, from 2011 to 2019, the income I got from my writing and photographs was around about £5,000. Obviously it does vary from year to year. So some years you get quite a bit of money, other years you get not quite so much. You can see there, some years it's around about £700, other years it's more likely £180, £190, but as they say, everything counts at the end of the day. So what does count? From my perspective in the UK, anything published in the UK in print format with either an International Standard Serial Number, ISSN, academic journals and magazines, including heritage photography, and an International Standard Book Number, an ISBN. So most books we buy these days have an ISBN. And if you've written anything or contributed to books, either a single chapter or as an editor, you can then use that contribution to get money each year. So I've with a colleague, I've actually co-edited about 3 books, so that helps in terms of the number of contributions I've got and how much money comes through. I'll show you some examples of that where I link into a website rather than the presentation. So ISBNs are International Standard Book Numbers, and ISSN, the International Standard Serial Number. If you publish a book with an ISBN or a journal with an ISSN, you must lodge a copy with the British Library. So each time we publish an issue of heritage photography, we send a copy to the British Library, and that's sent to a collection department up in Scotland. And we also sometimes do a digital deposit as well. If you do write a book with an ISBN, you have to then contribute copies to the British Library's main library. Then they may ask you for additional copies for each of the copyright libraries. More often these can be digital copies. The British Library's digital deposit system is currently offline after cyber attack in October 2023. So in the UK, our legal deposit libraries are British Library, National Library of Scotland, National Library of Wales, which is in Aberystwyth, on the hill if everyone's been to Aberystwyth. You've got the coastline and you've got the rough houses next to the sea, and all the way up the hill is the University campus, and beyond the University campus is the National Library of Wales. Bodleian Library in Oxford, the University Library Cambridge, and Trinity College Library in Dublin. So these regulations are for UK and Ireland. So how? What is asked for us annually when you join the ALCS is to update the number of works you've written in, or the number of things you produce each year via their online website. And Design and Artist Copy Society as well. The nice thing about DACS is that you do things accumulatively, so you keep on adding things in each year, so that is quite useful. ALCS is slightly different. You can, for images, if you're taking photographs, you can't use both, you have to choose one or the other. So you can use ALCS for writing and for photographs, or just for writing, then photographs by Digital Artists Copyright Society's DACs. So what I'll do is just unshare my Keynote address and then put on my website on the web browser and show you the ALCS, what it looks like as a site. Reach across a bit. The shame, things are typically closed before they start to pay us this month, later this month. So in March they'll be paying us. Well, unfortunately I can't really show you the things there, but there's a lot of information online about them and how it works and how to join. So a lot of information online that can be useful. Right, so I'll go back to my main presentation. What ALCS asks you to do is any new ones, they'll normally ask you where it's been published, what the title is and how many words you've actually written. What I found generally is that the ALCS, because I've done quite a bit of writing in journal articles, things like that, I tend to get more money from them than DACs. ALCS does get you to pay a small amount of money to start with, but that's taken out of your first year, what supply you in the first year. So when they give you amount of money, they take their fees out first straight away. So you don't have to, although it asks for a fee, you don't have to pay anything, which is good. If you look inside the front covers of our magazines, you'll see our ISSN number in the Heritage Photography. So every time you write an article for us in Heritage Photography, that counts towards what you've written for ALCS at the end of the day. May not get a lot of money, but they say these days any little counts at the end of the day. It's a bit tedious sometimes putting things in to begin with, but once you put the main bulk of your work in, it's then a question of topping things up in each year if you write more things or publish more things. Lots of issues up in the air these days around AI and copyright. At the end of the day, both ALCS and DACs are also lobbying organisations, so trying to lobby the government for the best way to get more funds for artists and writers at the end of the day. So it's quite useful for guys to join and support in that way, as well as giving us money. Last year from the ALCS I got £750 for my writing. The DAX was a lot less, probably around about £120 that was. But as I say, at the end of the day, every little helps in the day. The only thing is, like all these things, because it's income, depending how you are financially, in terms of tax, you do have to declare things like this. It counts as income at the end of the day, like everything these days. I'll answer a few questions in a moment. It's not a long talk tonight, unfortunately, but as I said to Heather, I got some other plan that might be also equally interesting about bones and things like I like in the day, osteology, but we'll see. I will load the presentation onto the Archaeology and Heritage SIG's YouTube channel in due course. I'm sure Heather will send out the link as well in the day.
Yeah, I'll send it out. It'll be reported here too.
If anyone wants to email me, if anyone wants to email me at all, that's my personal email address and also my address as Heritage Editor. That's the example of one of our magazines on the side there. That's the anniversary issue we had last year.
I do have a question with regards to ISSN numbers.
Yes,
Do you, if you run a publication such as Heritage Photography, for example, which is a regular magazine,
yes, yes.
Does it come under one ISSN number,
It does.
or do you have to have a separate one for each issue?
No, it's just one ISSN for all the issues in the day. So
It's,
once you've got it, you've got to make sure you regularly send each copy to the British Library. But once you've got an ISSN number, that's it for all your copies in the day. When I took over as editor, I had to sort it out because the number that they'd given us was wrong. So I had to sort out an EISN, which is the electronic one for the digital version, and make sure that our ISSN was right. Somehow they got it wrong at one point in time in the past. So I had to sort that out and send the library lots of issues to begin with. But we're all up to date now, thankfully. So each time we send that issue out, we always send an issue to the British Library just to be good people at the end of the day. And if anybody then wants to go into the British Library and ask for heritage photography, they could be supplied with our journal at the end of the day.
Has anybody actually been to the Royal Library of Scotland or the British Library, because their archives are phenomenal?
Yeah, I've been to the British Library quite often in the day. When I used to go via Pancras Station, I always used to go to the British Library on the way back.
It's absolutely wonderful.
Got a nice coffee shop as well at the end of the day. Sit and spend hours reading books in there. Well, the only trouble is you got to know what you want and order them in advance, preferably. It's easiest that way at the end of the day. Some things they can get quite quickly, you'll be on the shelves. Other things I had to order from the main depository centre, which is the Boston Spa Library. So Boston Spa, it's not a main library, but it's their storage depot.
It's
the main library, British Library in St Pancras often has big exhibitions of books, especially the medieval ones they've got on at the moment, I think.
I used to get sent to up to the British Library before they built the St Pancras one, before they opened it, to collect reprints for where I worked at the time. And it was just fascinating. You sit there and you tell them what you wanted, and half an hour later someone would appear with a pile of photocopies for you, and it was just amazing.
It's a brilliant place in the day. And it's so important as part of our heritage as well at the end of the day, because they have all the old books they have at the end of the day. Between that and the Kew records office are extremely important for research in the day.
It would be nice if somebody nearer the venue could do an article for the magazine about them, because I think that for the heritage photography, because I think that's something that's
definitely it's also quite photogenic at the end of the day.
It's a little bit too far out for me, because when I tend to go to London, I tend to have to go to where I have to go and then head back north again. So I think it's somebody nearer to it could actually do a real, and they could potentially get royalties for it too. You see,
exactly. Yes, I used to often used to have meetings at the Welcome Institute, and they got a lovely library as well at the end of the day. So I probably use the Welcome more often than I use the British Library. The Welcome Library is more for my medical history research, and it's interesting. And the Welcome's also got lovely displays of more medical art as well at the end of the day. Quite good. So it's a nice area to go to.
Have you been to the Hunterian, David?
Not the one in London, no. When I was at University in Aberdeen, we had a Hunterian medical museum up there in Aberdeen, but I haven't been to one down London.
I was doing some work years ago. I was doing some research that involved looking at stuff from Sir Richard Owen.
Yes.
John Hunter's son-in-law. So I actually had to go up to the Hunterian and read all the original letters.
That must be fascinating, in the end. Yes.
Yeah, and absolutely. I mean, amazing place. Well worth a visit if you can get in there.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. Any other questions? Anyone was walking to the microphone and asking questions you might have at the end of the day. I know it's not very exciting, it's slightly short, but at the end of the day, hopefully, I often try to get when I used to work at the University of Derby, you try to get my colleagues to join in the LCS and DAX. They're a little bit.
I think it's a very valuable talk, David, because a lot of people will be quite unaware that these places exist.
Exactly, yeah.
you know, we've all written articles for magazines and things in the past and never thought about registering them for any royalties, and I know I have a lot. And never even considered doing so. I've got a very long list now. I think I'm going to have to join these organisations and scroll through everything. I might be worth a bob or two. Who knows?
Exactly. Yes. At the end of the day, it's once the LCS site is back open and running again, after it gives me my money in March time. It's quite. It takes time to write what they need, but at the end of the day, it's well worth it. At the end of the day.
How far back can you go?
There's a limit to how far back you can go. I think
if I wrote something 5 years ago, was it too late to claim anything?
It probably is for the LCS, but photographic wise, DAX is much better. They tend to be cumulative. So I first started with about 50 photographs, but now it's up to about 200. So basically, the more you publish, the more you like to get things in the day. But LCS, they go back about 5 years, I think it is. I think recently the furthest you could go back at the moment, I think, is 2017. But at the end of the day, it's worthwhile adding the other things anyway.
So if I'm thinking of the article I wrote for Heritage Photography, and I can't for the life of me remember how long ago that was now.
That's about, I think it was about 2020 or 21, I think. It's the one
so
on Standing Stones in Auckland.
Yeah, so that was a mixture of text and photos.
Yes.
So ideally, would I go through the
I think what's good is you can go. What I would suggest you do is read through, have a look at DAX as well. But you can always go through DAX for photographs and LCS for the writing in the day.
All right, so you can split it.
You can split it that way. Yes. You can't do photographs in both. If you do photographs in LCS, you have to stick with them at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But LCS, you enter your writing first. Then once you save that, then after you do want to add audiovisual, you click that, then you can add a number of photographs in that as well. So it's quite logical once you get to do it. And there's LCS and DAX both have guides for how to do things in the day.
Yeah.
And once you're signed up, each year they remind you when you should actually fill out the forms and update things each year. So for example, last year I wanted more photographs in heritage photography, and even my small bits of writing about the kind of editorials I write each time. I add those. It's not very exciting, not a large number of words, but it's worth adding at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, I've got 1 or 2 articles in there now as well, so it's worth considering just putting them forward, isn't it?
It is, exactly, yes. Obviously, as my former job was a medical photographer, I often had quite a lot of articles published by other people, so other people published my photographs. So I tend to go for DAX for those photographs, because those go back quite a long way into the medical journals, and also other journals, other books being published with my photographs in them. So that's quite good as well at the end of the day. So there comes to a point where you've put everything in, then it'll start to do a slope down in the way, kind of way after a while. But if you're continuing writing or doing writing and things and publishing things, so for example with anybody doing photo books, if you do attach an ISBN to it, admittedly you have to send copies off to the British Library, but at the end of the day, I think for a photo book, it's got say 100 photographs, an ISBN, it'd be logical to add that onto DAX at the end of the day.
So if I decided to put an ISBN number on my magazine publication that I do, I would be able to claim for every image that goes into there.
You would, yes. Either through LCS or through DAX, yes.
Well, it would be both because there's text and imagery. So
yeah. I think LCS.
My photo book from last year is something like 700 pages long.
Yes. So I think in that case, I think that might be good to have a combination of LCS for writing and DAX for the photographs that way. I think best combination. But to get your ISSN, if you want an ISSN, you have to there's an inquiry via the British Library. So if you talk to the British Library, they got a form online you can fill out about the ISSN, and they're quite open. Obviously, if you've got old copies published or printed, they'll then ask for those copies to be sent to them. So it's quite the British Library is very helpful at the end of the day in terms of they want more and more things to be sent to them.
It's the same as Jim's question. I've got books that were published sort of 4 or 5 years ago with ISBN numbers, and it's something I never thought of doing. It just rookie error, really, when you're not really sure that these places exist. So
exactly, that's right. It'll be working out what best combination in the day. If you do try and put something through ALCS that's out of date, they'll let you know at the end of the day. So they're quite good like that. So their form's quite intuitive and it's interactive how you write things out in the day. So quite often, if I've written an article, I'll cut and paste into a Word document to get it to count number of words for me rather than doing it myself. So
I do that too.
Yeah. So it's not a lot of writing I do each year, each time for each journal, but it all helps at the end of the day.
Has anybody else got any questions for David?